So this is the 2016 San Marino Grand Prix taking place at the Tuscan Hills, the Italian countryside, the Mugello circuit. And for this round I'm being joined by Tornado's Tobias.
Hello folks.
And well, how do you think your season's gone for you so far?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's good to be back in the commentary box.
Of course,
it feels
yes.
like a long time since my last appearance here. But yeah, this season, first 3 races, I'd say they've been pretty mixed so far. Australia and Nürburgring didn't really have the pace to do anything about getting a win, not even a podium. And of course Brazil was a great race, despite being a second slower than Rosberg and quali. And Gonzalez drove a fantastic race. So hopefully to get his first win, and hopefully we get more of the same today.
Yeah, and potentially 2 in a row, Mugello, because last season's first ever appearance at Mugello saw a Tornado win in the form of Fernando Alonso.
It's going to be very tough to replicate that this time around, I feel.
Well, qualifying has gone quite well for you, but we'll go through pole position first, and it's quite a significant one actually, because on pole, and this is a record equalling 30-second pole, is Nico Rosberg in the Pedersen, and it equals the record of Fernando Alonso and Michael Schumacher.
Oh, Thomas on the front row.
On the front row.
Wow.
And to join him on third is Sergio Perez as well.
I don't know what... Checo up there as well, nice. I don't know what the gaps are. Rosberg, for all I know, could be over a second ahead again.
From memory, I think it was 3/10.
Okay, not so bad.
And we had Hamilton 4th, Ricciardo 5th, Cooper Lee 6th, and Andrew Racing's Antonio Felix da Costa 7th, so good qualifying for them actually. And the 2 Meisters in the top 10 as well, with Raikkonen and Massa 8th and 9th. Kubica making it a top 10 for Gajera.
Yeah, I've just seen that all the climax cars are in the top 10, that's good.
In the top 9, in fact, yes. And
yeah,
Alonso 11th, the highest of the Megatrons, who seem to drop back in terms of their pace. They weren't on the pace at all at the Nürburgring. Verne 12th, Grosjean 13th, Latifi 14th. And then FJRs and GRMs making up row 8 and 9, Magnussen, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Sainz, and then a miserable time for Shake and Bake on row 10 with Vettel 19th, Yoshida 20th.
Wow, crikey.
And I know, yes, Megatron's not showing well. And then the 2 Willows at the back, Van Dorn ahead of Verstappen.
Yeah, they're having a shocking season, Willows.
And
then they're the only team still to score a point, aren't they?
That's correct, yes.
After your unexpected strong outing at Nürburgring, where you finished ahead of my guys.
4th and 6th in the front row start as well.
Alright, here we go.
Here we go. So we're looking at the grid. On go the lights. Rosberg on the left, pole position. Thomas Gonzalez on the right, second on the grid. And the 5 lights go out. Good launch for Nico Rosberg, but let's see the second phase. Gonzalez getting a very good second phase of the start into San Donato, who's going to make the dive-bombing manoeuvre into the first corner. All looks clean so far, but so far it is Gonzalez in second, behind Rosberg and Perez third, and all relative formation at the moment.
Yeah, I think the highest mover was Da Costa in 6th, getting ahead of Lee, and that's kind of about it really for the top guys.
For the top guys, yes, and Magnussen has made a good start, up 2 positions from 15th to 13th, and Hülkenberg just gaining a place on Grosjean for 16th. As through the Arabiatas go the 2 Tornadoes, with Hamilton looking pretty feisty actually.
Yes, or maybe it's a case of Gonzalez is, I know it's only half a lap into the race, but maybe early signs Gonzalez is holding up his teammate and Hamilton, but like I said, it's only half a lap. Let's give it a bit of time.
A bit of time, yes, and to see how well the cars are performing on here. I am going to reveal something about my choice for this weekend. I'm pretty much doing the exact opposite than what I did with Hülkenberg at Nürburgring. With Hulkenberg, I went quite... Oh, there's two tornadoes side by side.
All right, heart and mouth moment here. Perez seemingly easing off the throttle.
Oh, Cooper Lee versus Da Costa.
Yeah, Checo not even attempting to go around the outside there. He backed out of it.
And just further back, Lee getting ahead of Da Costa for 6th. And I think Magnussen had just taken Felipe Massa for 12th place as well. So the Nürburgring, I went quite qualifying heavy on the Hulkenberg. For this one, both my drivers are more race focused.
Yeah, that will probably explain why your qualifying wasn't as good as last time out.
Down in 15th and 17th. But race setup for practice 1 and mode 11 for the race. I'm using codes.
Got a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of this. My drivers alongside each other.
Try and round the outside into San Donato. Is that going to give Hamilton an opportunity? Not quite.
I'm a little bit surprised that Hamilton didn't get past there.
That's Magnussen up in 9th place. He's flying in this opening phase of the race.
He's had an absolute storming start. He was 15th, wasn't he, on the grid?
15th on the grid, and he's already up to 9th. He passed Massa.
Wow.
And now he's already passed Verne and Raikkonen. Oh, Kubica getting a bit loose.
A little mistake from Kubica, but he gets away with it. But yeah, that's a massively strong start for Magnussen. This race performance that you've gone for, I think, is already evidently showing itself. I mean, Mugello, after all, there's a lot of fast speed corners and fast to medium speed corners, and it's something that's really going to favour the cars with high amounts of aero. So obviously, if you've gone for race performance, then that's it's going to show up a lot more here.
Pretty much, yes. And Perez has taken Gonzalez.
Yeah, I've just seen that at the bottom. Yes.
Oh no, Magnussen!
Oh, contact! Oh. He's caused Kubica away, but he just literally cars his way past Kubica there.
I thought Magnussen was going to spin that at the first corner. My heart was in.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. The physics of this game and how it works, and most of those sort of collisions result in the car from behind spinning round. But this is Checo getting past his teammate, and I'm kind of glad that he's got past, because it looked like Gonzalez was holding him up and Rosberg was pulling away. They've done it cleanly.
Possible split strategies?
Well, they're on different tyres, so I think that tells you all you need to know.
Different tyres. Not giving away too much, as Gonzalez is now under pressure from Lewis Hamilton. This one was a problem corner for many drivers last season. We saw Vettel go off, and some others as well. I think Grosjean might have been one.
That's no surprise there then.
That's the Corintao corner, and this is Bucina, the final corner, leading onto the long main straight, and I measured it. It's 1.2 kilometres long. Going to the left, I don't think that's the correct option, Lewis.
No, not at all. Checo found that out. He twice tried to go round to the left on the outside, but couldn't do anything. And then the first time round, he gets to the inside, he gets past. And speaking of passing, Magnussen's made up yet another place.
Up to 7th place. Hulkenberg's not quite made the progress as Magnussen has.
The fact that Magnussen is on the hard tyres as well, that's quite telling. Gonzalez has left the door open here on the inside. Hamilton should get past quite easily, I'd imagine. And now a fastest lap for Magnussen as well.
He is on the move, is Kevin.
He's absolutely flying. Absolutely flying. I mean, who's to rule him out of potentially winning this race?
Oh, don't say that.
But still side by side, Gonzalez and Hamilton, but Hamilton's just I think he was always going to get past there. And now Ricciardo has Tomas in his sights. Tomas seemingly doesn't have a lot of pace at this stage.
Not at this moment, and Magnussen already up to the back of Lee going through the Arabiatas. And Ricciardo, Andrew Racing having quite a good season actually at the moment, with Ricciardo getting a podium in Brazil and other points finishers as well. Da Costa himself got a point in the last race. You
may be surprised by how well they're doing. I'm not.
Yeah, it's more than likely that they were one of the first to abandon 2015. And
although, where I am pleasantly surprised by the Andrews performing well, I'm a bit disappointed with the Meisters.
Yeah, they've definitely struggled with the Meisters, and let's have a look in the background as Magnussen trying to look at Lee, and Ricciardo up the inside of Gonzalez into San Donato.
I fear we're going to be seeing a lot of this. Gonzalez just losing a place every other lap or something.
Maybe so. As we have a look at, this is Alonso, Latifi and Hülkenberg having a three-way dice, and who's going to win out with this one? Alonso late on the brakes, taking Latifi up the inside. Now Hülkenberg is Latifi's next on his hit list. That's through. This is Rosberg.
I wonder why we're watching him now.
Well, he's just going through the section before Arrabbiata, and he holds a 2.1 second lead over Sergio Perez as he goes through the second Arrabbiata. Now into a corner which...
Oh, I've noticed something.
Oh, he's gone off!
This is the reason.
Rosberg spinning.
Yeah, I just noticed it before he made that mistake. I looked at the leaderboard on the left and it said he was down in sixth all of a sudden.
So immediately after the Arrabbiatas, let's have a look. Turning in, too late, too fast, and that was inevitable.
Yeah. But he seems to have got going without losing too many places. So, if that leaderboard is to be true, although no, it isn't true. He's dropped to last. So I guess he was showing him sixth because that was the point the replay started. Anyway, we've got Magnussen here trying to get past Cooper Lee for fifth now. Trying
the dummy into San Donato. Lee pulling away on the straight, so that shows you how much power the Mugen has.
The power of that Mugen is quite telling, and also consider that's a customer Mugen as well, where it's quite ERS limited.
Of course, yes, and limited to 20% ERS as a new fastest lap for Hülkenberg. You can just see him in the background looking at Alonso as Verne moves up into 7th. There goes Hülkenberg into 11th place. So it looks like,
of course,
there's pace in the FJR.
Yeah, I'm absolutely gobsmacked by where you found all this pace from.
To some extent, so am I.
First two races, you were pretty much the slowest team, or you were at least as slow as Willow's joint slowest, and you've propelled yourself up there, and whereas Willow's are still at the back.
Yeah, I'm absolutely fascinated by this, because Magnussen now challenging Gonzalez for 4th. Is he going to brave one up the inside? Well, there's Lewis Hamilton in 2nd. He's very wide.
Oh, he's made another mistake as well. Yeah, he's dropped back a few places on the. Yeah, okay, not as big a mistake as Rosberg, but still lost several places. And is that? Oh, that was a Gajira going slowly there.
Or is that Alonso? No, it can't be Alonso. Is it Kubica? Well, he's under pressure from Da Costa going through turns 2 and 3. And their battle could put them both under pressure from Nico Hülkenberg. I should mention Perez now 4.6 seconds in the lead from Ricciardo, and Gonzalez now up to 3rd thanks to Hamilton's minor mistake.
I think Da Costa made a mistake going to turn 1 because he looked like he was quite a way ahead of Kubica, and all of a sudden exiting it, he's side by side. And this is Raikkonen with a problem. That's not good. Oh dear, engine gone.
A big problem, yes. That's a climax gone.
This climax has reached its climax.
Unfortunately for Raikkonen. So that's only the 3rd engine failure so far this season. We had one Megatron blow up in Australia and then one Ilmor blow up in Nürburgring. Now we've seen a climax go.
Yeah, not ideal, but you've got to test the limits of these engines, and if you don't, push, then you won't ever know those limits.
Of course, yes. Now this is a battle for 3rd between Magnussen and Gonzalez. I'm going to assume this is a replay because the timing graphic is showing Magnussen now in 3rd, and this will be how he's done it.
He'll switch to the inside, and under braking.
3rd place for Kevin Magnussen.
Pretty simple in the end.
And now Gonzalez versus Hamilton for 4th, as we see Rosberg recovering, trying to get out of last place, and, well, look at that.
Yeah, it was very good traction out of that last corner, and good power as well. And, yeah, the Ilmore's Willows is just no match for it.
Yeah, there's a bit of a story on Willows, actually, where they're actually considering getting rid of their manufacturer status.
Yeah, I'll talk more about that later, but right now I'm a bit concerned by Magnussen's pace at the moment. There's a yellow flag up ahead. What's that all about?
Oh, is this Perez, or is this somebody else?
Oh, it's green. It might have been Raikkonen pulling over, actually.
Yes, it was.
His car getting craned away. Well, at least I hope it was just that. I think it was.
Yeah, it must have been, as Ricciardo versus Magnussen.
Yeah, Perez would have dropped down by now easily.
Yeah. Now let's see Magnussen back into the slipstream, and some decent power on the climax and potential as usage. Hamilton versus Gonzalez.
Yeah, that was tight. I tell you what, I hope Ricciardo can hold up Magnussen for as long as he can, because this turnaround from 15th on the grid to third, now battling for second in 13 laps is quite astonishing.
And on approaching their 14th lap, Magnussen are looking at the outside, but we've seen some decent power in that climax. Now ambling on the inside, and Ricciardo once again holding on to that second place.
Well, at least there's some good power in that climax to keep Ricciardo ahead. And this is a pit stop.
Hülkenberg's due in the pits. Yes, there's 2 stops expected all around, and Hülkenberg looks like he's going to be the first to make a pit stop. And if he's tucked up behind Da Costa, then this could be a good move if new tyres are powerful.
Yeah, sometimes...
Oh, how many pit stops?
That's a tray of them. 4 of them in a row there. Wow. So I'd expect if you get held up here.
Now, who's this going to benefit most? Because they're all quite close together. Right, so Hülkenberg will get it ahead of the excellent.
Usually it's the car first in who's got the earliest garage that benefits, and it looked like a Pedersen got out first, then a shake and bake, and Hülkenberg has lost a couple of places there. Yes,
down behind Latifi and Vettel, but jumping Alonso in the process. I think Massa's made a pit stop as well, because he's down to 20th at the moment. There was Latifi.
Yes, and Ricciardo's in this lap, so Magnussen is now released to chase after Perez.
Yes, now it'll be interesting to see if Ricciardo can still remain ahead of Magnussen on this new tyre pit stop, and it depends on how much further Magnussen goes.
I know we obviously can't decide how many pit stops our drivers are making in this, but if I was able to dictate it anyway, I wouldn't want either of my guys to pit now and rejoin in a load of traffic.
Yeah.
Even with fresher tyres.
As Ricciardo rejoins in 10th place, as Hülkenberg looks to try and overtake that shake and bake, and he's jumped to GRM as well. That's a couple of positions gained for Hülkenberg.
That was just on the straight, wasn't it? Like, that was before the braking zone for turn 1, and Checo's due in the pits now, so not that much longer.
No, but pretty much at 1/3 distance, so splitting up the race into 3 equal chunks.
Assuming that no one else pits behind him, I think he'll rejoin about 7th.
Let's see what happens as on go a new set of soft tyres, and through into the lead goes Magnussen, so he's staying out for a little bit longer. And there's some other mechanics out there as well. And
I was fully expecting Magnussen to go in the pits at that moment as well, and just hold up Checo for a couple of seconds.
Not on this occasion. So Perez rejoins in 6th place.
Well, at least he's got clear air. I was a bit concerned about rejoining in traffic, but he seems to be all good on that front.
All good. This is Latifi versus Hülkenberg for 14th place. Still in the midst of pit stop sequences. Hulkenberg on hards, Latifi on softs, and the outbreak and manoeuvre. That's a position gain for Hulkenberg. So, next target is Stoffel Van Dorn, but Van Dorn will be into the pits shortly. And I'm just looking, I think Verstappen has jumped Ishida. That'll give Willows a little bit of consolation.
I wouldn't have noticed that.
As Hamilton into the pits. And just in front, I think is that Pedersen Mechanics or is that FJR Mechanics?
It really, there is no matchup whatsoever with the pit crew overalls and the cars. Just forget about trying to work that one out. So Ricciardo's still ahead of Hamilton, although I would say the gap has either come down a little bit or it stayed the same. So maybe fresh tyres aren't as effective here as you think, and because of obviously when you pit, you put on more fuel. Although Hamilton has jumped Gonzalez, speak of the devil.
So Gonzalez being jumped by Hamilton as Magnussen is due into the pits this lap.
Going to be interested to see what the gap is to Checo when he comes back out, and obviously he's pitted a few laps later. I think Checo pitted on lap, was it 16 or something?
18 it was.
It's now lap 21. Right. Okay, 18. Magnussen is going to be on fresher tyres now, so
yes,
if he can keep up his pace from the first stint, then he's going to be. I feel like he's going to be rapid and a massive threat for the victory here.
Well, out of the pits and rejoining in second is Magnussen now. How far is the gap? It was 8 seconds before the pit stop started between Perez and Magnussen. Hamilton versus Ricciardo for third.
Hamilton's challenging Ricciardo.
Yes, not quite managing it on that occasion. Now we've got the lone Meister in 15th. Looking at, it's a bit wide.
Lock that. Is he going to get back on the track without spinning or hitting anything? Just about,
but he's lost positions to Alonso, Rosberg and Sainz. Rosberg versus Alonso. That's down the outside on the main straight.
Yeah, I noticed that with obviously that's a Megatron in the back of that X-Lee, and wow, the gap's come down a lot.
That is coming down.
3.1. It was 7. It was almost 8 seconds when Perez pitted, and wow, yeah, Magnussen's he's going to get past at this rate easily.
Potentially.
Gonzalez is taking opportunity on Hamilton here. Oh, Ricciardo's off. He's going to hit the wall. That's going to be out of the race, surely.
How has he survived that one? How has he survived that?
The actual FUCK have I just seen there?
That's. Yeah.
I'm stunned by that.
The Andrews.
What technology has Andrew got there? Wow. I've never seen such a hard impact into the wall on this game and no wheel or even the front wing has broken off.
Those Andrew Racing suspensions must be built like shithouses.
That's crazy. I mean, if that was the same incident with one of my guys, they're losing a wheel all day long.
I think with anyone they're losing a wheel, but Andrew's getting away with one there, as this is a battle for 8th between Kubica and Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg shimmying, looking for a way through. Now he's looking up the inside into San Donato, and that's 8th for Hulkenberg.
As I was just saying before that bizarre Ricciardo moment, I noticed the Megatron cars, they're getting absolutely pulverised on the straight by seemingly anybody else.
Yeah.
Even your...
Oh, Hulkenberg! That's one gone.
That's
a concern.
Bit of a pity. It wasn't the other, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's one FJR gone, and that's mode 11 for you, as he looks for a safe place to park.
Mode 11.
Mode 11, yeah.
So you're going full whack this race.
Anyone who's seen Spinal Tap will know what that's referring to, and it'll give you a clue as to what mode I'm running.
I'll have to look that up afterwards.
Yeah. And this is a battle for the lead.
I was fearing this would come at any point, but I'm a bit disheartened to see it come so soon.
And as Hulkenberg's confirmed as to be out of the race, now Magnussen is looking up the inside into San Donato, but Perez hanging on to that one for now.
Surprised he didn't get past on that lap. I think it's only a matter of time when.
Well, you say that. Who knows?
Well, we've already seen one FGR blow up, and we also saw a Climax blow up earlier.
Yeah, it's one for one. So officially, Mugen is the most reliable engine.
And cue a Gajira pulling off to the side of the track.
Yeah, I'm wondering if our commentators cursed the Mugen teams for that one. Just looking further back, Hamilton now 1.3 seconds ahead of Gonzalez, so that's sort of settled down a little bit. Both Gajiras actually in the top 8, so that's a bit of a turnaround considering they were pretty much well off the pace in Brazil and the Nürburgring.
Traditionally, since these new engines came in 2014, the Gajira tended to not have good qualifying, but in the race they come stronger.
Yeah, utilising the Mugen power as shimmying one way or another, Perez versus Magnussen. Now, is there going to be an outbraking manoeuvre? Oh, there is, and Magnussen up the inside this time, and he's taken the lead off of Perez at half distance.
Yeah, I could see that coming. That's just the pace, the race, the extra race performance you get from a race setup is just, it's so effective. I mean, Magnussen's on hards, Perez is on softs, and that's made all the difference.
And at a circuit like Mugello as well, which contains lots of fast corners, utilising the setup is quite ineffective with lots of long and fast corners.
I went for a more balanced setup.
I wonder what the others have done.
I thought just thought I'd share, because it's only fair since you shared yours.
Yeah, I mean the Magnussen one at the Nürburgring was interesting because he did not take part in first practice and went balance in practice 2, so that was more encouraging than Hulkenberg's pace as Vettel looks up the inside of Latifi and he gets in.
Latifi's trying to hold on, but I think Vettel's got this. Yes, and now Latifi's teammate is right behind, Rosberg, recovering from his early drama.
Now he's made his way back up to 12th after binning it from the lead. And what have we got? Lee versus Kubica. This is customer Mugen versus works Mugen. And that's quite surprising in some ways.
You're going to see the extra ERS power that the Gajira has access to. Obviously, remember that the Mitchell and the Pedersen only limited to 20%.
Yes, and the Climax, are they 35 or 40%?
Well, is this a replay?
Oh, is this Lee coming back at Kubica?
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, bit of a swap around going on between those two.
Ignore I said that.
So, and is Climax 35 or 40% for its customers? Oh, Vettel!
40, Vettel. Well, if that was last year, that would have been massive, but the Megatron was very unreliable in testing, but it seemed to improve since then. However, it's shown up here. And whoa, Vettel, the way he was pulling off there, I thought he was going to spin.
That was sudden. And now he's pulled off in a slightly smoky manner. And there's the Marshal coming to help him out. Yeah, Megatron had like 4 or 5 failures in the first pre-season test, and then
I think it was more than that.
More than that even. And I think the Bottas in the GRM, his happened on his first lap out of the pits. The very, very first lap.
Reminiscent of a certain other GP2 engine from another universe.
From another universe. And
yeah.
As into the pits for his second stop comes Fernando Alonso. He was in 12th, chasing the 2 Pedersens. Not a great race for Exolite.
No, they seem to have gone backwards. Last race they had not enough pace to battle for points, and here it's the same again, despite having a strong start. But you have to look. I mean, all the Megatron-powered teams are struggling.
Yeah.
So, that's a common denominator.
Yeah, I was going to say that it coincides with Megatron's general drop-off in performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And the two Pedersens are a line astern, but Latifi is due in the pits now.
And that will release teammate Rosberg, who nearly creams into the back of Latifi.
I was preparing myself for that possibility.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's a trait of this particular circuit that there might be incidents at the pit lane entry.
I know that from races at the old Mexico City circuit. That's a really bad one for incidents on the entry to pit lane.
Yeah, that was a bad one. Yeah, we often see... We had 3 in the 92 race, as Latifi rejoins in 16th place and he actually loses it.
Cold tyres?
Cold tyres and a rampant Van Dorn coming up behind him.
Or maybe all the wheels weren't put on properly.
Could have been a loose wheel. I mean, can happen. And this is Rosberg about to enter the pits. Just one lap after Latifi, so Pedersen's going for the new tyres quite early in this second round of pit stops. As into the pits comes the Nico Rosberg in his last season in FF1M.
Yeah, I was surprised with how early he announced that. I mean, obviously in real life he retired end of 2016, but he effectively announced his retirement when we were only like halfway through 2015.
Yeah, I wonder if that was off the back of a bit of an up and down season with Willows, with one of the more unreliable cars, but did manage to get a couple of podium finishes. So I wonder if he's preparing early, as Perez comes into the pits.
Well, whatever the reason for that, and if Nico does stick with his retirement plans, Pedersen will be looking for a new driver already for next season.
And race leader Magnussen is due into the pits this lap on lap 39. Turn right, change camera, and onto the speed limiter. So is this going?
I don't think Perez can do anything in this last stint. I think Magnussen's the race setup boost is helping him a treat here.
Perez was about 9, I think maybe 8 seconds behind, maybe even 7 actually, before making his pit stop. So he'll do well to jump Magnussen from this position, as out of the pits in 7.4 seconds now.
Nah, no chance. I mean, even Gonzalez in the pits.
I was about to say is Gonzalez going to take the lead, but in fact he's choosing the pit stop option. Cooper Lee's briefly in 4th place and Kubica 5th, but both of those have got a second pit stop to make. In fact, they've just made them. Oh.
Rosberg going past Alonso on the outside. Look at that power difference.
That power difference. Now, this is obviously a replay because lap charts are a bit different, and I exclaimed when I saw Magnussen in the pits again, but in fact that was when he pitted.
You're seeing things now.
I am, yes, and the 2 GRMs go into combat for 14th place. That's Bottas taking Sainz. GRM having a bit of a tricky season, it seems, even though Sainz had a pretty good race at Interlagos with a 7th. Looking for a tricky season, unfortunately. Speaking
of GRM, I was really stunned with their decision to move away from Mugen during a time when it looked like the Mugen was, on the up, which, as evidently we've seen, and moved to the Megatron.
Well, at the time when the teams could make their entries, Vettel had won 4 races in a row, and then the British Grand Prix came along, and that's when Massa, that's the other climax.
Another climax, wow. Another Meister climax gone this time.
Yeah, so both Meisters suffering engine failures, which is quite unusual, it seems. Nevertheless, with 10 laps to go, it won't have harmed development massively, but it will have a bit as Van Dorn...
Van Dorn making a mistake. He's getting lapped, he's spinning, and into the gravel. Is he going to recover? He stops. I'm guessing that's because there's a car coming through. Yeah, it's a dangerous place.
Verstappen and Hamilton, that was. As Magnussen going through the Arabiatas. Well...
Penultimate lap.
Penultimate lap. I'm going to be careful how I commentate this next bit because, yeah.
Are we going... imagine if we saw a repeat of Canada 2014 with Button.
If that happens, then I will voluntarily shit myself.
No, I think it'll be fine.
You think?
Although when Button retired that time, there was zero warning about that.
Zero warning, and a little bit under pressure from Bottas at the time. But anyway, on to his final lap. And I think he's lapping in the 1:15s, but I remember Hülkenberg had a mid 1:15 fastest lap, so I think he might hold the fastest lap. Magnussen a bit further back.
You know, I was kind of hoping when Massa retired just now that we would get a late red flag and we would get a 3-lap sprint at the end, grid start. You know what I'm talking?
1-lap shootout.
That's what seems to happen in the real world now.
Yeah. Oh, the less said about that, the better. But yeah, as Magnussen.
I'll tell you what, putting a lap on Rosberg, the pole sitter.
Yeah, that's impressive, actually. Impressive race pace. And again, does it suggest that Pedersen went a bit too qualifying heavy? Oh, that was a bit wide through Correntau.
Oh, yes, very.
But he hangs on to that one. But approaching the final corner, and considering the first 2 races that FJR have had, the turnaround has taken a lot quicker than expected, because out of the final corner, and this is going to be his first FF1M win as well, Kevin Magnussen from 15th on the grid wins the San Marino Grand Prix. Wow.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm
So all I can say, thoroughly well deserved. 15th on the grid.
I was expecting 6th and 7th, to be honest, behind the Mitchells, Tornadoes and Rosberg, but first, I'm dead chuffed with that.
Just remember where you were in testing.
I know,
as well, and the first 2 races. Who would have predicted this?
The turnaround, yeah. It's quite astonishing, even if I may say so myself. And
what do you have? What do you have on the FF1M Supremo to give you all this extra power?
I've no idea, but as we go through the rest of the results quickly, Perez 2nd and Gonzalez 4th. So good points for Tornado and...
Yes, solid result. Definitely a better performance than Nürburgring, for sure. Beat the Mitchell and the Pedersen. Probably just... If they picked the race setup for this, then may have won, but hey ho, live and learn.
Live and learn. And Hamilton took 3rd in the end, and I saw both Gajeras in the points as well. So good result for them, and all retirements engine related: Massa, Raikkonen, Vettel, and Hülkenberg.
Really, Ricciardo should be down there. the impact that he had. Oh my Christ.
And that moves Lewis Hamilton into the lead of the championship, and as he's overhauled Nico Rosberg, who had a bit of a shocker actually, and Gonzalez 2nd with that result, and Cooper Lee 4th, Magnussen shooting up to 5th, and yeah.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. But you know, with Rosberg not scoring points, it's kept the championship quite wide open,
relatively open
for now at least. And my team has gained points on Mitchell, and they were like 15 points ahead going into this, and now they're only 8. So yeah, overall a good weekend.
Yes.
Apart from maybe the Meisters blowing up, which is a bit of concern for the engine.
So Mitchell hold an 8-point lead over Tornado with Pedersen 3rd, but an FJR overhauling Andrew Racing. Now we move up to 4th.
And Willow's points tally looks very ill.
Unfortunately so. Let's hope they can turn it around. Maybe not as soon as the next race, but hopefully soon. And the next race, a new FF1M venue. We move to Aragon in Spain. So, from the 2 of us, we shall see you then.
Cheerio.